Hey guys, so today we'll be talking about verb tenses. There are three main tenses of verbs. They include number one, past, things that have already happened. So, for example, last year, 3 years ago, yesterday, or earlier in the day. The second kind of tense is present tense, which describes things that are continuous and happening now. And the future tense describes things that are yet to happen. For example, later, tomorrow, next year, next week, or 2 years from now. So, for each of the three main types of tenses, also for the past, present, and future tense, there is different kinds. So, the first kind is indefinite and simple form. In the past, you would say, they worked. Present would be they work. Future, they will work. The second kind is continuous or progressive. Past, they were working. Present, they are working. Future, they will be working. The third kind for all the three main tenses, the past, present, and future, is the perfect form. In the past, it would be they had worked. Present, they have worked. Future, they will have worked. The fourth kind is perfect continuous. Past, they had been working. Present, they have been working. And future, they will have been working. Each of these kinds also have their passive voice. So the first form is past indefinite. He was promoted. They were promoted. The second form is present indefinite. You are promoted. She is promoted. The third is future indefinite. You will be promoted. We shall be promoted. The fourth one is past continuous. He was being punished. They were being punished. The fifth one is present continuous. I am being punished. The boys are being punished. So the future form of tense does not have a continuous form and it has no passive voice. The next type is past perfect. They had been punished. All had been punished. The present perfect, she has been punished. You have been punished. And for future perfect, we shall have been punished. They will have been punished. Now we will be talking about each of these kinds in detail. I have provided examples on the previous slides and now I will discuss each one individually. So the first one is the present indefinite tense. This tense is used to express habitual happenings. So it indicates the actions which had been taking place in the past, are taking place in the present, and there is a likelihood of their taking place in the future as well. How to translate or write out the present indefinite tense. I, plural subjects plus I form of verb. With he, she, it, third person singular plus first form of verb with the addition of s or es to it. So some examples are here. So with I, you use plural subjects plus the first form of verb. I walk. We walk. You walk. They walk. With he, she, it, you use third person singular and first form of verb by adding s or es to the end of the verb. She walks. He walks. All walks. The negative form of the present indefinite tense is I, plural, plus do not, plus the first form of verb. He, she, and it use does not plus the first form of verb. For example, you do not walk. She does not walk. And you use the same thing for he. He does not walk. And for they, you use the same thing as you. They do not walk. So the same rules apply in the interrogative form. For example, do you walk? Don't they walk? Do we not walk? Does she walk? Doesn't he walk? Does Sam not walk? Why don't you walk? Why doesn't he walk? So basically, you use do not with I and the first form of verb. So for example, for you, they, we, and I. And you use does not for she, he, or the names of people because they also count as he, she. So the passive voice in the present indefinite tense. The passive voice is formed as under I plus am, or you can say am not, plus the third form of verb or the past participle. With he, she, or it, you use is or is not, plus third form of verb, past participle. For plurals, so for example, they, plus are or are not, plus third form of verb, past participle. For example, so following the rule for I, you use I plus am or am not, plus the third form of verb. So I am liked at college. For he, she, and it, you use is or is not, plus third form of verb. For example, he, she is liked at college. Again, for plurals, for example, you or we use are or are not and third form of verb. So you are liked at college. The next kind we discuss in detail is the present continuous tense. This tense expresses A, actions which are taking place at the present. For example, the sun is shining. Birds are flying in the air. B, it expresses actions which, though not taking place at present, take place after some intervals. For example, I am writing a book nowadays. Although I'm not writing it at present, I'm writing it nowadays. She is preparing for the examination. Although at present she is doing something else, she is preparing for the examination over intervals. So C, it expresses actions which are going to take place in the near future. So in the planned or arranged future. For example, I am going to London tomorrow. Shall go. So I have planned to go to London tomorrow. She is not taking the examination this year. So she will not take, or she has decided not to take the examination this year. So how to translate the present continuous tense? I plus am plus the fourth form of verb or the present participle. He, she, it, you use is plus the fourth form of verb or present participle. For plurals, for example, you and we use are plus the fourth form of verb in the ing form. So the rule explained on the previous slide is applied to some examples here. For example, number 1, you are shouting loudly. So in this case, you is a plural form, plus you're using are, and shouting, you're using the fourth form of verb and the ing form. They are running after the thief. So same rule applies. They is a plural, plus you use are. Running, you use the ing form of the verb and the fourth form of the verb. She is not listening to you. Here you apply the second rule. You use she plus is plus the fourth form of verb in the present participle. So she is not listening to you. Are you taking the examination this year? What is your father doing nowadays? He is being promoted this year. Are you being sent abroad? Why are they being punished? So all these sentences apply the rule explained on the previous slide. So it is important to note, however, that verbs pertaining to senses, emotion, thinking, and possession are generally not used in the continuous form, and it is better to use them in the present simple or the indefinite form. So these verbs include verbs of senses, so think, understand, know, expect, forget, remind, recall, recollect, suppose, remember, believe, realize, etc. And verbs of emotion include like, dislike, love, worship, refuse, wish, and want. Examples of verbs of possession include possess, belong, or own. So here are some examples of correct and incorrect sentences based on what we have learned so far. So I am seeing you. That is incorrect. The correct form of the sentence is I see you. They are wanting it. That is the incorrect form of the sentence, and the correct form is they want it. So we will now look at the present perfect tense. This tense is formed with the words has and have as auxiliaries and the past participle of verbs. Passive voice is formed by placing been after have or has. So in this case, I, plurals plus have plus the third form of verb. He, she, it plus has plus the third form of verb. So the present perfect tense is used to express A, actions which started in the past but have come to an end just now. I have written the letter, so I started writing it some time ago. She has taken tea, so she started taking tea a few minutes. They have arrived just now. The house has been whitewashed. Letters have been written. B. It is also used to express actions which occurred in the past. Their effect with the present is still maintained, and these actions could still be repeated. For example, I have visited the zoo. So I visited the zoo in the past, but I can still visit it because it is still present. The principal has held a staff meeting. The meeting is over, but its connection with the present is still effective, which means that it can't be held again. Next example, we have been told about human nature in these plays. Anyone who studies or views these plays in the present can understand human nature. C. It expresses actions with time expressions for and since. I have been ill for 2 days. I am still ill. He has never deceived me. He does not deceive me. It has not rained here since July. She has not met me since Christmas. So we met each other on Christmas, but since then she has not come here. She might come here and meet me anytime. That is why you use the present perfect tense. D. So it is used with mid-position adverbs and lately, recently, yet, and just. For example, I have always helped him. She has never spoken to me. They have often been punished. There have been many storms recently. She has not done anything lately. The train has not arrived as yet. They have just gone out. It is important to note that the present perfect and the past indefinite tense is closely connected together. People often commit many mistakes by interchanging one for the other. So for example, he has gone out just now is the present perfect tense. He went out a little while ago is past indefinite. They have played 2 matches is present perfect. they played 2 matches is the past indefinite form. So next we'll discuss the present perfect continuous tense. This tense is formed by using the present participle of verbs after the present perfect of the verb to be. Perfect continuous tenses are not used in the passive voice. So I, plural subjects, plus have been, plus the fourth form of verb. He, she, it, plus has been, plus fourth form of verb. The present perfect continuous tense is used to express an action which began in the past but is still continuing. The point of time since when the action began, or the period of time for which the action has been taking place, is generally mentioned. Since indicates the point of time and for indicates the period of time. Some examples to distinguish between since and for. Morning, yesterday, 5th of July, etc. use since because that is a point of time. 2 days, 10 months, 5 years, etc. they use for because that indicates a period of time. Some examples that highlight the difference between for and since are written here. So number 1, Jack's parents have been searching for him for 7 days. So they're still searching for him, and 7 days is a period of time. She has been wandering in the jungle since Monday. So she is still wandering. That is why you use the present perfect continuous, and you use since because Monday is a point of time. I have been writing a letter since the morning. So again, you use the present perfect continuous because you're still writing the letter, and you use since because morning is a point of time. They have not been living here for a long time. So they have not been living here and are still not living here. That is why you use the present perfect continuous. But you use for because a long time means that you're talking about a period of time. For how long have you been working hard? So again, even in the interrogative form, you use for with a period of time. So for how long, and working hard means that you're still working hard. That is why you use the present perfect continuous tense. So oftentimes the present perfect is used in place of the present perfect continuous. Both tenses can be interchanged, and either of these can be used in some cases. So for example, he has always been helping me. This is the present perfect continuous. He has always helped me. So this is just the present perfect or the present perfect simple. They have been living here for 2 years. So this is the present perfect continuous. They have lived here for 2 years. This is the present perfect or just present perfect simple tense. It is important to note that there is a difference between a single continuous action and repeated actions taking place in regular intervals. For example, she has reminded me of my promise 5 times. So that is an interval. She has been reminding me of the promise for the past 10 minutes. That is continuous. It is important to mark the difference between the present simple continuous tense and the present perfect continuous tense. For example, he is sleeping. This is the present simple tense. He has been sleeping since the morning. This is the present perfect continuous tense. They are suffering from fever. This is the present simple tense. They have been suffering from fever since yesterday. So this is the present perfect continuous tense. Next kind of tense or form of tense is the past indefinite tense. This tense is formed by using the past tense of verbs with all subjects. There's no grouping of singular and plural subjects. In negative sentences, did not followed by the first form of verb is used. Its passive voice is formed by using the third form of verb after was or were. To form the past indefinite tense, it's the subject plus the second form of verb subject, did not, and the first form of verb. Did, subject, and the first form of verb in an interrogative manner. Note, did is followed by the first form of verb. For example, she finished her work. I did not eat my lunch. Did you meet him? Use of the past indefinite tense. A. It is used to indicate actions which took place sometime in the past. For example, I met him yesterday. They wanted to play hockey. He came here last year. How did you find my house? So it is B. You also used for actions which continued for some period of time but are now terminated. For example, I lived at Ottawa for 2 years, so I'm not living there now. Jack once saw a princess. C. It is also used for actions which frequently took place as a habit. For example, I played hockey in my childhood. Used to play. I always helped my friends. Used to help. That the past indefinite tense is used for writing stories, past events, essays about past incidents, summaries of stories, and novels. For example, my friend wanted to become a doctor. I did not want to insult him. The gardener plucked many flowers and took them home. Many flowers were marked. So the next form is the past continuous tense. This tense is formed by using the present participle of verbs after was and were. Passive voice is formed by using being after was and were, followed by the past participle of verbs. So singular subjects use was plus the fourth form of verb, and plural subjects use were plus the fourth form of verb. Past continuous tense is used for actions, A, which continued for some time in the past. So boys were playing hockey. He was washing clothes. The bell was being rung. The thief was being arrested. Note, although the sentences written above are correct, they are incomplete in sense. When we wish to say to someone that boys were playing hockey, we wish to know when these actions were taking place. To make these sentences complete in sense, you could say that the boys were playing hockey at 8 a.m. The bell was being rung when we reached the college. However, simple sentences can also be used in a paragraph or any form of composition where the time is already understood.